So welcome back to my channel. This is Dom and an update on some of my latest painting projects. I should probably go yeehaw at this point, but I won't. This is another group of cowboys for playing Dead Man's Hand, which is a game I'm tremendously enjoying when we have the odd game up at the club. A great opportunity for vendettas, mayhem and general chaos. So this is a group of metal cowboys that I picked up a little while ago on Kickstarter. It was called Wild West 28mm Miniatures by Mark Evans, and I have to say they are really nice figures. Beautiful sculpts on them. Got just something a little bit different, which is really nice. In fact, I think the only thing I can slightly say was a bit of an issue. They came with slotter base, slots, or whatever the bit that goes in the slots on the figure, but no actual slotter bases. Not that I would have used them, but I ended up chopping them off, which was a bit awkward, and then getting to stick nicely onto the bases was a little problematic, but first world problems. I'll suffer that for decent figures, and these certainly are. So there's 2, 4, 6, 8 of them. I've painted them up with the black bands because I realised that most of my bands in Dead Man's Hand are on the good guys, and I've sort of done it red for good and black for baddies on the bands around the base, so these guys are normally in the bad guys side. You also got some little bits and bobs which were sort of stretch goals with the project. So there's a pump here, this is a rattler snake, a grave there, at the back there's a pair of boots with a snake coming out of them, a signpost here, and another grave which, oh, does that say Ken lies here? Yeah, I think it does. Poor old Ken. Beautiful figures, really enjoyed doing them, and hopefully they may even see some game time fairly soon. So next up, some reinforcements for my Greek World War I army. Showcased it a while back from Great Escape Games, and I wanted to add some extra options to the list, including some vehicles. So I don't know how many of the, I don't know how often this army is going to see the field. I don't know how often I'm going to use any of these vehicles, so I didn't want to spend a fortune on them. So I went to the excellent 3D printed paint and glue, and bought a couple of, or in fact 4 vehicles. So this is one, this is a Bren carrier. It's modelled as a scout car, but in the Greek list you can have a couple of, actually you can have a few of these if you wish. I'm not sure how accurate they are historically, maybe to the latter period army of the Greek army later in the campaign probably against the Germans. They had some Bren carriers in existence. Certainly in the early period they didn't, but I thought it's a nice option to have. It's got a British crewman in it, but I can overlook that. Nice little model. Limitations as always on 3D prints. You can see the layers, but these are very good and pretty reasonable price. So that's one done. So I also got a truck from Paint and Glue, another 3D print. I thought the open top variety was just okay. If I can, I might try and look for a driver to put in it. It doesn't come with one. I think this is supposed to be an Italian truck. It seemed most logical that they would have captured Italian trucks. They certainly captured a lot of Italian tanks, so that can be press ganged into my Greek army. And again, I suspect I'll use this one more than I will the Bren carrier, just because a truck in bolt action is quite useful for that fast deployment or grabbing an objective or coming in from the flank. I might try and get look through my excess kit and find a machine gun that I can sort of have temporarily available to fit on it if I wish, because sometimes I like to put a machine gun on my trucks. It just gives them a little bit more poke when you're spending points on a truck. So finally, on the Greek vehicles front, this is a captured Italian tankette. There was at least 30 or 40 of these were captured by the Greeks in the war, early part of the war, and then were pressed, ganged into use by the Greeks themselves. only machine gun armed in this case, certainly. It's one of those CV33s, is it? I can't remember. I should have made a note of it before I did this video. Again, just a nice little 3D print from paint and glue. Dead simple. Just put some sort of. I used the car on all these vehicles. I used the khaki spray that I used on the infantry from Halfords, and then just actually used contrast paints. A couple of stripes. There's a green, a lighter brown, and a darker brown stripe put across the vehicles. And because it's contrast paints, it sort of goes fairly translucent. And then with a wash over the top, and then a dry brush, and then pick out a few extra bits and bobs here and there. I think it's quite an effective and very simple way of painting, and I quite like the sort of subtle camo effect it gives to it. So there you go, more armour support for the Greeks. So talking about flavour of the period, well, I think these are from the period, so I picked these up when I was doing another order, just to make up the postage as much as anything else. I think they're Mantic. They're sort of a very soft, almost rubbery plastic. I just thought it'd be fun to use as part of the scenery for Dead Man's Hand games. So you've obviously got the noose and the hangman's platform there, which will be great, and a set of stocks. I don't. Did they use stocks in Western times? I'm not entirely sure, but a bit of fun. They can go around the table as a bit of scenery, which is, what I got them for. So next up, this is a 20mm German Panzer II. I think it's an SHQ model. I picked it up on Marketplace actually, and painted it up. It's a nice little model actually. Turret separate, though it's stuck now because of the varnish. But anyway, it will move. I just need to brute force it open. I picked up a couple of vehicles and a couple of editions because, as you may have seen, I've been playing some 20mm Second World War games with Jonathan down the club, and really enjoying it. And I've got plenty of vehicles. In actual fact, I haven't got many trucks or infantry, so this guy was just selling this on top of the trucks that I bought. So I just thought I'd pick it up and paint it up. I'm quite pleased with how it's come out. Just kept it really simple and weathered it up a bit to look muddy and ready for duty on the, well, I guess the Western Front more than the rather than the Eastern Front, although Panzer IIs were used in Russia as well. Anyway, nice little kit. And these are a pair of 20mm Malvos, the trucks that have the back wheels replaced with tracks. I think they're SHQ 20mm figures. I bought them off somebody selling them on Marketplace on Facebook because I thought I needed a few transport vehicles for my for the army. I've been playing lately when I played with Jonathan playing Second World War. I've been playing with the late war German army, and last time I didn't have quite enough trucks, so I thought, well, these were going cheap, so I picked them up. They are fully resin. The bases are moulded on, so they're basic. They do, and I've given them a reasonable paint job just to get them up to tabletop standard. So next up, this is a unit of British Hussar Napoleonic cavalry. They're metal figures from Foundry, and yeah, I don't know why I chose to do Hussars really. British light cavalry were quite prevalent in the war, not so active, well, not so much heavy cavalry, particularly in the Peninsular War, as light cavalry. So I thought I'd do some up just to make it look, well, just to be more useful. And I just fancied having a go at this. I've just noticed. Oh, you're a fool, Dom. I did make these the 11th Hussars, and if the eagle eyes would have noticed, I've done half of them with the letter 11 or number 11 on their well, I'm going to call it a handbag because it will annoy all the historians out there. The sort of bit that hangs down from the side of their uniform, and half of them I haven't. So I'll have to put the 11 on on the other half. Anyway, doesn't matter. These are, say, foundry metals. And they're nice. I really enjoyed doing them. It was just something to challenge myself more than anything else, to do something a little bit different from the norm for me. I've done an awful lot of Napoleonic infantry, and I realise I do need to up the game in terms of cavalry. So I've got some Russian cavalry to do as well, and I'm going to work my way through. But I sort of start with something really easy, inverted commas, and do the hussars, because, you know, hussars are easy, right? But they're nice models, and I say I didn't find them actually too difficult to do in the end. A couple of layers of blue wash on them, and then just picking out a few details here and there. And yeah, I think the effect from 3 feet is going to be perfectly great on the table. So that's another unit ticked off the list, and cavalry at that. I see bodies, loads of bodies. This is 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 12 Neapolitan. This is 12 Russian casualty markers for my Napoleonic army that is slowly coming together. So yeah, these are warlord metals, I believe. I bought 2 boxes of them. And they're mounted on war base counters, so you just, you know, they just rotate round. I think they go up to 12, which, given the fact we seem to be playing a bit of General d'Armée right now, and you need to go up to 14 for casualties, they'll be ideal for that. So yeah, that's them done. A necessary evil, I guess, because, as the Russians would say, casualties are inevitable. So finally, this is a unit of 24. They are the Loyal Lusitanian Legion, a Portuguese regiment of exiles that fought for the British early on in the Peninsular War. They were basically, they were raised to differentiate themselves, which is hence why they had the Loyal in their name, from the Portuguese Legion that fought for Napoleon. They were, as far as we know, predominantly light infantry, which is why they wore the green light infantry unit, or the rifleman type uniform. Not sure whether they actually carried a standard or not, but the figures came with a standard, so I gave them a standard and I just gave them the flag that they gave. These are unusual figures. These were, I'm not entirely sure how I even picked them up. I think they were selling them through Facebook as a sort of Kickstarter. And it was a company called the Napoleonic Virtual Museum. And when they arrived, I thought, A, they're quite small, and B, I thought, crikey, they're sort of a resiny type figure, and I thought the detail is probably just going to disappear on them, because they seem to have quite a lot of detail. But actually, I was pleasantly surprised, and they've come out really nicely. They have a lot of lacing down the front of the figure, and even my standard of painter could pick them out reasonably well, even with an generous undercoat on them. So yeah, quite pleased with how they've come out. I don't know how often I use them. In fact, I'm probably going to use them in a battle coming up where I need another unit of rifles. And I might just use them as that, because at least they'll be easy to identify, being green. But yeah, that's another unit done from the pile of shame, and these have been kicking around in my boxes of spares and bits and bobs for I don't know how long, a good couple of years. And I thought, right, I saw them, I thought I'd get them done. In fact, I think the box gave me a load more as well, so having enjoyed painting these up, I might do the rest if I can find them, and just do them as sort of skirmishers, individual skirmishers. As I say, we think these were, most of the stuff I've been able to read about them seems to suggest they were actually light infantry, and may have even had a rifle light company. Don't know about that though. Anyway, there you go, that's that done. So there you go, there's my painting projects for the last couple of weeks. Bits and bobs, there's a couple of other things ongoing that been showing as separate projects over and above, but quite happy with the progress. Some good, yeah, going through the backlog reasonably well, and just about in credit in terms of what I'm shoving in the top end of the pile. So yeah, happy with that, and happy to get some projects underway and you know, some bits of them finished. So got to do some more cavalry. That's one of the things I do need to do. I need to bite the bullet and get on. Those hussars were okay, but I've got a load of Russian Napoleonic cavalry, and I want to get working on those, so maybe I'll set myself a little goal within the goal to get them painted up. Anyway, hope your projects are going well, hope you're staying safe, hope you're getting some gaming in, and if you like this, hit that like, subscribe if you haven't already done so, and I will see you again soon. This is Dom, signing out.